Okay, hi everyone. So today we're going to continue with our chapter 4 on part 3 for methodology. And we're going to focus on qualitative data analysis, right? So let's start.
So similar to the process of analyzing quantitative data, when you want to analyze qualitative data, there are still 3 steps for you to follow. First, organizing, recording, categorizing, coding the data, and then presenting the data, and lastly, analyzing the data. Right. What you should do for qualitative data, when you analyze qualitative data, will be a bit different from when you are analyzing quantitative data. Remember, I told you before, when you analyze quantitative data, you are dealing with numbers. But when you are trying to analyze qualitative data, you are dealing with details. Dealing with details means lots more work to do. Right, now let's continue. First, when you organize, record, categorize and code the data, okay, you need to analyze it. You need to conduct this systematically and logically. Okay, what you should do first, according to Narazman et al. 2009, you need to ask, what do you want to get out of the data? So look back at your research objective or research question or objective of the study. Look at it. What you want to look at, what you want to search, what do you want to get the answer, what kind of answer you are trying to get. Okay, right. Number 2, decide on how to handle the data obtained. Okay, so if you are doing it via interview, first make sure you transcribe it. Okay, when you transcribe the interview recording, make sure it must be in a verbatim transcription. Verbatim means word per word. Okay, even with the laughter, you put it there in your transcription. Okay, right. Next, organize your qualitative data. Okay, so how you organize your qualitative data? It depends on the question. It depends on the question. That will be the easiest way for you to organize your qualitative data. Alright, so you make list of the question, then you list down all the responses, all the description according to the question from every respondent. And to make it easier, you put everything in tables. Okay, so you won't miss out any information. Okay. Next. For example, okay, I know some of your questionnaire contain open-ended question, especially question with answers like others or please explain or open-ended question, things like that. Okay, so for example, if you see here in the slide, question 1, handphones are very popular among students of all ages. Please give your comments. So this is a table that you will get after you have conducted the steps, after you have organized the responses in table. Okay, so for example, you have 5 respondents or 5 students here, and then the 5 responses according to question. So for question 1, okay, these are the responses given by the 5 students. So for example, student 1 here, it can help them get in touch with their loved one, for example, their parents. Student 2, it is a trend of today's teenagers. Student 3, many university students use handphones to call their friends. They also use it to contact their family. Student 4, everyone has a handphone today, so you will be out of place if you do not have one. Student 5, I don't want to be left out. I want to have a handphone that is used by other students. Okay, so you will have this raw data. This is the raw data for qualitative data. Okay, for qualitative data. Right, next. After you have put every responses in a table like that, the next thing is to analyze, categorize it. You categorize it. Okay, so how you categorize it? If you look at this slide, okay, so based on the responses, you can say that student number 1, the response is for them to call for a parent, for the parents, to call parents. Okay, so that will be your first category. Okay, your first category, your first response. Okay, so to call parents, so student 1, that is the example, that is the evidence. And then what is the other what are the other responses that can actually be put under this category? For example, student 3, okay, it is also for them to contact family, right? For this person to contact the family, so you put it under to call parents. Okay, and then student 3 also say that it is for the for him or her to call friends, to call his or her friends. So friends and parents are two different things, so you put it under a different category. Okay, so you put it another new category to call friends. Alright, then let's look at the responses by student 2, 4 and 5. This one, a completely different responses. So you put it under a new category, a trend among teenagers. Okay, let's see. Student 2, it is a trend of today's teenager. Trend. Okay, for that category. Student 4, everyone has a handphone today, so you'll be left out of place if you do not have one. So student 4 response here is not related to category number 1, to call friends, and it is also not related to category number 2, to call parent. Okay, so this is under the third category, a trend among teenagers. Student 5, I don't want to be left out. I want to have a handphone that is used by other students. Okay, this is not to call friend. This is also not to call parents. So it is a trend among teenagers. Okay, so you put it under tables like that. And then you can actually get numbers. Okay, you can actually get numbers from doing this kind of categorization. Right. So for each category, if you can see in the slide, okay, to call friend, 1 respondent, which is student 3 S3. To call parents, 2 responses from 2 respondents. Okay, student 1 and student 3. Okay, if you look carefully, like student 3 here, it can be under 2 different categories. Don't worry about that, because this is qualitative data analysis. You can have overlapping analysis. Okay, and then the third category, a trend among teenagers. Student 2, student 4 and student 5. So you can have the numbers here. So if you put it into a summary, you can actually have it in a simpler one. To call friends and family, student 1 and student 3. And then a trend among teenagers, student 2, student 4 and student 5. So if you want to have number to call friends and family, how many? 2, right? Okay. A trend among teenagers, how many now? 3. Okay, so you can actually convert the details into numbers. Alright, okay, got it? Bit complicated, right? But don't worry, it will be easy, inshallah. Okay, now let's continue. If you have an interview, for example, like here in this example, question 2, why is it necessary to have a handphone? I told you earlier on, if you have data like this, first thing first, you need to transcribe, especially for interview. You need to make sure that you have the transcription for each respondent. Okay, so you have 5 respondents here, and you put everything into tables like this, according to question, and then you list down the responses. Okay, student 1, handphone is important for everyone. If there is an emergency, we can easily call for help. This is what I mean by verbatim transcription. If you look carefully, there is the sound made by the speaker. Okay, the and and so on. Okay, student 2, I think we can use it to call our parents no matter where we are. Okay, student 3, let's say if we have handphone, it is easy to make calls to maybe our friends and parents. Okay, student 4, if we are not sure, for example, where we are, we can easily call for help, right? Okay, and then student 5, actually, I always miss the bus, so I bought a handphone, now I can call my friends and say I will be late. Okay, so these are the responses given by the 5 respondents for this particular interview question. Okay, now what you should do here, similar. What you should be doing now is similar to when you have open-ended question in a questionnaire. You need to categorize it according to the responses, and then remember to put it into tables similar to the qualitative data from a questionnaire. Okay, right. Next, how to present the data. Okay, for qualitative data, you don't need to present the data using tables, using graph, using charts, and so on and so forth. Okay, you just simply need to use the responses as your presentation of data. Okay, how? Let's, for example, you have the interview. Okay, so you have now, category 1, to call friends, 2 respondents, student 3 and student 5. Okay, and category 2, to call parents, from student 2 and student 3. And then category 3, we have category 3, student 1 and student 4. The category is easy to get help. Okay, you can refer to the example for question 2 on interview. Okay, right. So these are the responses. So when you want to present this, this is also a presentation, we call it, or the analysis of data. Alright, so how to analyze the data? Simple. Just write it in paragraph like this. Okay, let's, for example, look at question 1 just now. Question 1 just now is open-ended question from a questionnaire. Right. Okay, you have the table just now. You have the numbers already. And this is how you analyze and present your qualitative data. From the responses to question 1, it was found that one respondent said that the popularity was due to the need to call friends. Remember, please use past tense. Okay, past tense. So to support your category here, okay, you said one respondent said, right, that the popularity was due to the need to call friends. So you just copy the responses from student 3 and paste it underneath that particular paragraph. Simple. Now let's continue. Category number 2. On the other hand, 2 respondents stated that handphones were popular because the students wanted to make calls to parents. Okay, then similar, copy. You just need to copy and paste the responses from student 1 and student 3. Okay, easy, right? And then continue. You have 3 categories, remember? Need to write about all the 3 categories in the paragraph. If you have 4 categories, then 4 paragraphs. If you have 5 categories, 5. 11 categories, 11 paragraph. Okay, right. Third one here, 3 other respondents stated that handphones were popular because having them was a trend among teenagers. The following are the responses from respondents regarding this matter. Okay, then copy and paste the responses by student 2, student 4 and student 5. Okay, now let's continue. So if you have 3 categories, okay, you talk about the 3 categories. Category 1, 1 paragraph, evidence. Category 2, 1 paragraph, evidence. Category 3, 1 paragraph, evidence. 1 last paragraph for each question will be a conclusion. You need to write a conclusion. So after the 3 categories just now, 3 paragraph and the evidences, what you need to write here is a conclusion. So how to write a conclusion? For example, like this one. From the responses, it can be concluded that the respondents felt that handphones were popular among students because of the need to call friends and family. That is category 1 and category 2. And it was a trend among teenagers, category 3. Just simple. It is very simple. Okay? You just put all the categories together under a paragraph. Simple. It's not that complicated. Okay? Alright. So, for the exercise or your homework, I will give you only one homework here. Alright? So, I will give you some interview transcriptions. Okay, some interview transcription. And I want you to analyze the transcription. Okay, according to question. Okay, right. There are many questions in the transcription. I want you to only focus on 3 questions. Okay, and then from the 3 questions, you write a complete analysis for each of the questions. Okay, right? If you have any questions, please feel free to ask on Edmodo, or maybe you can just email me. Okay, right? So that's all for today. See you guys next week. Bye bye.